How's that, everyone? Apple is known for making some pretty great products. We know that already. As a matter of fact, most of you are probably using an iPhone or an iPad to watch this video right now. But Apple has made some questionable moves before, like removing the headphone jack on iPhones or creating this hockey puck mouse and whatever this is. So where does the Apple Card come in on that spectrum? Is it one of their greatest innovations and products? Or is it as pointless and useless as iPod socks? Well, after having the Apple Card for about 2 years now, I think I have a pretty good idea of how useful it is and what exactly it's good for. Of course, the results may vary depending on the user, so I'll be going over the reward categories, the benefits and features of this card before I move on to the actual experiences and my overall feelings about the Apple Card. First off, right off the bat, I think this is probably one of, if not the greatest marketing move that Apple made with this card, is the appearance of the Apple Card. I mean, come on, after all, it is an Apple product, so I don't think they would skimp out on the way that it looks. The Apple Card is the only credit card to be made out of titanium, and it has laser etching to have an overall clean and simple look. As a matter of fact, you could take a look around this card and see a total of pretty much only 5 things on there. You got your name on it and a bunch of logos. That's about it. There's no security code, no card number, no signature, no expiration date, literally nothing. It's just ultimate security and privacy. And as far as weight goes, it's pretty decently weighted. It weighs almost 15 grams, so that's heavier than the Chase Sapphire Preferred card, but not as heavy as the Amex Platinum card. And as far as structural integrity goes, this card actually feels sturdier than the Amex Platinum. Yes, the Platinum card does look and feel good, but the Apple Card just feels a lot stronger. Like, it's lighter, yeah, but it has less bend to it. It has less give to it. Like, if I had to use my credit card to break something for some reason, I'll probably take this card out instead of the Amex Platinum card just because I think this will actually do the job. And before I forget, did I mention how this thing sounds? To me, the sound of the Apple Card best resembles the sound that comes from when you drop a Hydro Flask in the middle of the night on like that cold, hard kitchen floor. Yes, it looks cool, but for what? Apple literally incentivizes you to use Apple Pay, to not physically use this credit card. To me, this is kind of silly, right? Because this is one of the better looking and feeling and sounding credit cards out there, but yet they don't want you to actually use it physically in the store. They want you to use Apple Pay. And honestly, I have not once used this card physically. It's just always been digital purchases. But looks aren't the only thing that we are here for. Does the card have actual use case for it, or is there any value to it? Starting with the reward categories, the Apple Card will give you 3% cash back on Apple purchases. This goes for a new laptop, new iPhone, new iPad, new Apple Watch, even things purchased on the App Store, and even iCloud and music subscriptions as well. If it's from Apple, you're going to be earning 3% back on it. You'll also earn 3% cash back on a very select and short list of merchants. The list is as follows: Duane Reade, Mobile, Panera Bread, Uber, Walgreens, Exxon, Nike, T-Mobile, and Uber Eats. So you do get a little bit of diversity here, like with pharmacies, food, ride-sharing services, etc. But it's not much because it's just for a specific set of stores or merchants, and it's not like a general broad category like travel category, dining category, grocery category, etc. But you could get 2% cash back on those purchases that I just mentioned if you use Apple Pay. And that's because the Apple Card will give you 2% cash back on any purchase made using Apple Pay. Of course, you'll need an iPhone or Apple Watch in order to use Apple Pay, and also that merchant or store needs to accept Apple Pay. With all that cash back though, what exactly do you do with it? The Apple Card uses something called unlimited cashback daily. What exactly is that? With most credit cards, whether it's a cashback credit card or a rewards credit card, you don't earn your cashback or points until you pay off that statement, pay off your credit card bill. With the Apple Card, however, you get your cash back instantly, pretty much right after you make that purchase. That means you get your cash back daily and you can use it ASAP. But before you get any ideas, no, you cannot cheat the system. Let's say, for example, you return something, but you already used the cash back that you earned from that purchase. Apple's still gonna get that money from you. They're just gonna take it from your cashback balance, and if you don't have enough in there already, you're just gonna go into the negative. So don't try to beat Apple. They thought about everything. And how useful is it for you to get daily cash back? Well, that's ultimately for you to decide. Personally, I could care less. I don't use my cashback or points daily. I don't even use it monthly. I usually hoard it up over, a duration of a couple months before I actually use it. So this whole unlimited daily cashback thing really is pointless for me. It makes no sense whatsoever. But if you're the type of person to use your cashback or your points instantaneously, then this feature may actually have a purpose for you. What else makes the Apple Card different? Because up to this point, it seems pretty ordinary. Apple did add a few things to make this card a little bit more unique, but are these features gimmicky or do they actually serve some value or purpose to you? Try to think about that as I go through this list of benefits and features. First, there are no fees. There's no annual fee, there's no over the limit fee, no foreign transaction fees, and there's no late fees. If you do miss a payment or don't pay off your balance in full, yes, you're still gonna have to eventually pay that balance. You won't get charged a late fee, but you're gonna have to pay interest on that balance that you didn't pay. So don't get too excited about having no late fee, guys, because you still want to be able to pay your credit card bill on time and in full every month. However, if you do feel like you need to carry a balance over, Apple did include this cool little feature that I'm about to go over to help make things a little bit more easy for you so you could plan out the interest that you're going to accrue with that balance. This feature is available in the Wallet app where your Apple Card is stored, and it's going to help you figure out how much interest you're going to have to pay. Again, this feature should be useless for you because you should be paying off your balance in full and on time every month. This should not even be used by you. Only a very few select of you out there might actually use this and could find this useful. Yes, it's a cool, cute looking add-on, but it's not essential. Now, switching over to something that might be a little bit more essential is that the Apple Card allows you to buy a new Mac, new iPhone, new iPad, new Apple Watch, interest-free with monthly installment payments. In summary, you could finance a bunch of new Apple products with zero interest. And yes, you'll still receive that 3% cash back up front when you make that purchase. Why is this so useful? Well, you've heard about opportunity cost before, right? Opportunity cost as in the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when you just choose one method. So in this case, instead of buying a $2,000 MacBook Pro up front, you could break that price down into monthly installments over 48 months worth around $50 each month. That means you have $1,950 at the time of purchase to be used elsewhere, like on other bills, investments, or other expenses. The real attractive part about this feature is that it's all interest-free. So if you buy it now or if you finance it, at the end of the day, you're still going to be paying the same exact price. There are good and bad things about this though, so please be careful. The good thing is that you can now afford to buy a new computer or a new phone when you couldn't have afforded it if you had to pay that $1,000 or $2,000 up front. The bad thing is you can now afford to buy a new computer or a new phone without being able to afford the $1,000 or $2,000 up front. Interest-free financing or payments is the dangerous game because credit card companies like to do this or market this so that way they trick you into thinking you could afford something when maybe you can't. It can be a very dangerous game because all of a sudden you're buying a bunch of new things with just low monthly payments, but at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to pay it off and you may go into debt because of that. Don't be tricked by this. So if you want to be extra safe, if you can't afford to buy that new computer, new iPad, new Apple Watch or whatever up front, then maybe you shouldn't even finance it. For example, I did use this feature to pay for my iPhone and MacBook, but yes, at the time of purchase, I could have afforded to pay the whole cost up front. But I decided for me personally, it was a better idea to finance it interest-free because that money was used elsewhere. Another feature that the Apple Card utilizes is something called financial health. This feature color codes all of your transactions on your Apple Card to see kind of where your money is going, and it breaks down into different categories, like how much money was spent on entertainment, groceries, etc. Your Apple Card in your actual Wallet app too will start to get more colors on it the more that you use it. That means it changes colors in real time as you make charges on your Apple Card. Not only can you differentiate your different purchases into different categories, but you can also track exactly where that transaction, exactly where that purchase was made. The Apple Card actually pinpoints on the map where that purchase was made. If you're using the Apple Card by yourself, then maybe it's not too special because for the most part, you know where your Apple Card is being used. Or this comes in handy when you see any unrecognized activity or if you have an authorized user that makes a purchase. And that brings us to the next feature or benefit, and it's called Apple Card Family. Of course, sticking to the classic Apple ways, they don't call it authorized users. They don't stick to the status quo. In this case, they use the term co-owners and participants. With Apple Card Family, you could merge two Apple Card owners into one account or one shared credit line. This way you could manage your account as one and build credit as equals. You could also add anyone that is 13 years of age or older to become participants. Again, this is all kind of fancy terms for authorized users, but there are a few key differences. For one, the two owners who actually combine to make one account, they have to have their own Apple Card, so they're not really authorized users. And for the two co-owners, this is probably the adults of the family, you know, the head of the family. But for the participants, or this is probably the kids, they don't have to have an Apple Card. Those participants essentially share the credit line from the two parents or the two co-owners. This is Apple's family-friendly way of giving you the opportunity to help teach your kids or other loved ones good financial habits and have good financial health. Yes, as a co-owner, you could view all the transactions made as the participant and that the other co-owner makes, and you could track them on the Maps app as well. You also have other controls over these participants, such as choosing how much the credit line each participant has. Unless you have a family, this feature again is useless. But if you do have kids, the Apple Card does provide a nice way to help teach your kids how to responsibly use a credit card. And lastly, the Apple Card is a MasterCard, so you could use this card wherever MasterCard is accepted. It also comes with protections such as fraud protection and identity theft protection. Okay, so thank you for making it through that information overload. Have you been thinking throughout that section like if this card is actually useful for you? Because now I will finally share my personal experiences and feelings about the Apple Card. And in my humble opinion, I believe the Apple Card is a solid 3 out of 5 stars. Calling it absolutely pointless is a bit dramatic, but it is not a solid credit card. First things first, if you don't like Apple, then this card's obviously not going to be for you. If you don't have an iPhone and you don't have Apple Pay, you're not going to be able to use this card, and this card is not right for you. And that's just touching on the tip of the iceberg, because there's a bunch of different things that the Apple Card can improve on. Not sure if you noticed, but I didn't even mention the sign-up bonus of this card. That was intentional, because there is none. Not even an Apple gift card or a free iPhone charging cable, nothing. The Apple Card has literally no sign-up bonus. And did I mention that you kind of have to buy Apple stuff in order to make the Apple Card worth it? Of course, you have the highest multiplier, which is 3% cash back on Apple products, but how often are you buying Apple products? Yes, you could charge monthly subscriptions or apps and games on this card at a kind of frequent basis, but how much money are you actually spending on those purchases? I'm guessing it's not too much throughout the year, so it may not make a huge difference in terms of value of that cash back. If Apple runs through your veins, this is way more appealing to you, especially if you could take advantage of that interest-free payments on those bigger Apple products. This card also isn't meant for travel rewards, and that's because it doesn't have or give any travel rewards. Yes, you could earn cash back, which you could ultimately deposit to your account, and then you could use them for travel, but it's not travel rewards. There is no redeeming points or cash back through a travel portal, and there's no transferring points or cash back to a travel transfer partner. The Apple Card is strictly cashback rewards. Also, if you spend a lot in general categories such as restaurants, groceries, gas, travel, etc., then there are better cards out there that will have way more value for you. For example, the Citi Double Cash card, the Chase Freedom Flex card, and even the Amex Everyday card. Yes, I use my card to buy my laptop and my phone with 0 interest, but it wasn't essential. Like I said earlier, I could have bought these things straight up as well. Other than that, I just have my monthly iCloud subscription and Apple Music subscription being charged to this credit card. So my Apple Card barely sees any action, barely sees any transactions compared to my other more frequently used credit cards. And that's because the Apple Card is just not that useful. Circling back to the ultimate verdict on the Apple Card, don't get it. Or at least don't make it a priority. I would recommend for most of you to go ahead and get like an Amex card or Chase card, Discover card, Citi card first before you make your way back to the Apple Card. Unless you live and breathe Apple and buy Apple products frequently, you're probably not going to get that much value from this card. As always, let me know what you think. Do you have the Apple Card? Do you actually find value from it? Or do you actually want to get the Apple Card? Let me know, please. And if you made it this far, please go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to my channel down below so you can keep up to date with more credit card videos like this and also other videos on personal finance. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fun rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Shoots.